In the last video, I started working on Mazarin's Arboretum. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about these spirally columns in the background. There's actually a fun way to make these in Blender. Just for some background, you often see these spirally columns in old-timey architecture, Victorian Gothic architecture, and they're also very common in furniture. And they go by many different names, sometimes a twisted column, sometimes a barley twist column, a Solomonic column, all these different types of names, but they're all basically the same thing. There's actually a modifier in Blender called the Screw Modifier that does exactly what we want. You can start off with the circle, like I have here, and just apply the modifier, and you can make a big spiral as big as you want, as tight as you want, as twisted as you want. All you have to do is adjust some of the settings. And starting off with the circle is fine, but the problem we have is if we go inside the X-ray and we actually look inside of our model, we see there's a lot of extra geometry that isn't really necessary. And performance-wise, it probably won't make any difference, but it is going to make it harder to UV unwrap the model when we're finished. Ideally, we'd love to have it just be one continuous surface all the way through. So instead of a full circle, I'm going to delete some of the vertices and make this a half circle. And I'm going to apply the exact same screw modifier again. And it's going to look exactly the same, except this time, it's all clean on the inside. Now to make it a continuous surface, I'm going to merge all the vertices that are close together. And that's merging a little too much. Let's dial it back a little bit. There we go. Now it looks the same. So the end goal is we want to make this cylinder not a coil, but a continuous cylinder that's just shaped like a coil. Now I'm going to cut off the extra geometry at the top and the bottom of the columns by creating two boxes. I'm going to put them at the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to subtract using the solid constructive geometry modifier. I can subtract these boxes from the top and the bottom, and it's going to remove all the vertices that intersect with the cubes. So you'll be able to see that the top and the bottom now just end in a flat, smooth surface. One last thing I want to do is now I want to UV unwrap the column, and then I want to bake an ambient occlusion map. And ambient occlusion is just a fancy word for darkening up the crevices. And when you have a game like mine that only uses subtle lighting, not very much lighting, just a little bit of ambient occlusion goes a long way to give the impression of depth. And you can see all we're doing is we're just adding a little bit of shadow in between each coil. And that's all there is to it.